Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back once again to another Fallout 4 settlement build. Today we're going to be checking out the long-awaited general goods store, which I'm pretty sure may be one of the most common types of buildings in I guess any Fallout town. Now, as many of you probably already know, the Wasteland Workshop DLC recently came out, so I gotta say I had quite a bit of fun just kind of checking out all the new pieces, but I also noticed that a lot of them are actually very useful, especially in a building like this. So throughout today's little show around, I'm sure you'll notice quite a few new things that we haven't seen in the past. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy what you see. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Alright guys, so now we'll go ahead and check out the front of the build. And I must say, this has been one of my favorites out of the ones we've done so far. And I think that's really due to the fact that we have decided to use more of a variety in terms of materials. You can see we have the cement walls from the DLC down on the first floor, and then there's also a nice mixture of the wood walls and also the steel ones throughout the rest of the build. That being said though, this was also one of the more difficult builds we've done in terms of sort of piecing together all the parts on the exterior. You can see up top we have that section or balcony that's only 1/2 block wide, and I must say, that was a real pain in the ass to make. And not only that, but we had to somehow get the Super Duper Mart sign up there. And I'm sure you guys know all the clipping issues and whatnot that can occur. So, as troublesome as that was, I will say, it was definitely worth it in the end. But yeah, also on the outside we have quite a bit of goodies. And there's even a little display stand over here, or display shelf, whatever you want to call it. And I know some of you are probably thinking, won't some greedy wastelander just come by and steal all this stuff? And that there is why I decided to place down this guard to make sure no one thought it was okay to steal anything. And like most of our other builds, we also have a spot for customers to sit down outside and, you know, just enjoy a beer or something, have a nice conversation. And there's also a couple signs and flags here and there. And like I always say, those just really help brighten up the mood. Speaking of brightening things up though, we also have the neon sign. This is general goods, and that's also one of the new DLC pieces, and you'll also be seeing those used quite a bit more throughout the inside of the build as well. And the inside of this store is a lot more like our diner, in the sense that it is one big central room, instead of a lot of little rooms that branch off here and there. And hopefully that will help you guys out, because I think our first 4 or 5 builds had tons of hallways and rooms that branched off. So just in case some of you guys enjoy decorating the big open rooms a bit more, hopefully by showing you this, it'll help you out when working with those types of rooms. But anyways, when you first walk in here, you'll see there are quite a bit of scraps and tools, and then also some vending machines. You can see there is the Nuka-Cola one on the right, and then the cigarette or cigar one on the left. And that's just in case shoppers or visitors who come in here can buy themselves something just to pass the time, either on their way in or way out, depending on what they prefer. But in terms of items available in this section here, you'll notice there are a lot of tools and also just random scraps and miscellaneous items that you may use for crafting stuff. And last but not least, there are quite a few wall decorations in this area, and these not only fill up the blank space, but they also sort of advertise what's available here as well. And then moving further to the right, you'll see there's a table that contains all the items on sale. But I noticed in all my other builds, everything's really already set up. So I thought it would be rather interesting to have this cart with the boxes here, just to make it seem as if one of the workers here is still unloading some of the extra supplies onto the clearance rack. And next up, moving all the way to the back of the store, we have clothing and armor for sale, and there's also a section where you can buy books here as well. And say you're here with a friend who's maybe checking themselves out in the mirror for too long, you could always just sit down in the chair and read a book for fun without actually having to buy it. And you may have noticed there's not a single clock in this building, which is usually a decoration we use all the time, but I figured maybe the owner of this building wouldn't want their customers to know what time it is, so they could just get lost in their shopping spree and buy as much stuff as they possibly can without getting worried about what time they need to be home at. As of now, though, it's been mostly stuff for adults to buy, but I figured there'd probably be some children in this town, at least eventually. So over here to the far right we have a section for children, And over here, there's really just a lot of random toys and knickknacks for them to check out while they're here. And also in the back, we do have some comic books that have been preserved, just in case they're into that sort of thing as well. Apart from all that, though, we do have a couple extra tables and shelves that would just contain extra medications or crafting materials. And then over here to the far right, we do have a bench. I guess if there's a long line, you could always just sit down and wait there. There's also some extra magazines that you could check out while you wait, and you could even consider buying them, I guess. And back here, we also have the checkout area, and behind here, we do have some of the more valuable or dangerous items as well. You can see this is where all the guns and ammo is stored. And I felt like keeping it back here was really just one last safety measure that would just prevent anyone from stealing it, or even just keep kids from getting their hands on it and blowing their brains out. And once again, there are a couple more signs, such as the labels or the sale sign that just indicates maybe those guns are the ones that are on sale. And then one of my favorite is the caps only one down below, which just kind of creates a cool atmosphere, but also just signifies to any idiots trying to pay with pre-war money that that's not going to be an option. And then last but not least, we do have this area all the way in the back that's just kind of a space for storage. And also in case one of the workers was, say, on a break, they could sit down here and maybe read a comic book or two. And they've even got their own Mr. Handybot back there that they have yet to unbox. Now, although this may look somewhat finished, I am still considering knocking down this back wall here and maybe adding a stairway that goes up to the second floor. And since there still isn't any sort of owner's office in this building, I feel like upstairs would be a decent place to have that. But anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for today. So hopefully by showing you this style of interior where it's one big open room has helped you out quite a bit more if you're going for that style instead of the more enclosed area where it's a bunch of separate rooms or hallways. And overall, I'd say it's best to have a mixture of these types of buildings if you really are planning on trying to give your town a lot of variety. But in the end, I gotta say this has been one of my favorite builds to make, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. Make sure and let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and also if you have any ideas for future builds we could try out, or any thoughts on how we could improve this build, I would love to hear those as well. And just in case you're wondering, all the mods I'm using are down in the description, so if you're interested in those, feel free to check them out. But yeah, once again guys, thanks for watching, hopefully you did enjoy the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.